preheat your oven. So bake, start. And also you want to grease 2 pans and then set them aside. Hello, it's Sasa and welcome to my kitchen. And today we're going to be making the Japanese green tea matcha sponge coffee cake. Yes, it's a very long title. Okay, so here it is. It's really, really yummy. It's very simple to make. This is very like a plain, well, because the main focus is the green tea matcha flavor, so you really want that strong flavor to come out. I like to eat this just by itself. It's a great like coffee cake to have with like a cup of tea, and also great for a dessert. I don't like to put icing on it because I don't really like super sweet desserts. So this is not very sweet at all. If you want, after you make it, you can up the sugar amounts. So this is the matcha. It's a green tea powder. I bought this like a big bag of it when I went last time I was in Japan. So I know sometimes it's hard to find. It's the last place you can go on eBay or online to buy it. Also, you can find like these single packets of matcha green tea. And I've heard some people have used like regular green tea as well, but I find it's not as strong as a flavor as like if you can find the matcha. So it's really important to find the matcha. Okay, so here's the cakes. Okay, to say it in Cantonese, it's okay, yum cha is to drink tea, right? And a cake is dan go, and so it's a green cake, so it's green tea cake, right? So lok cha dan go, lok cha dan go, lok cha dan go. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so when you're scooping up your flour, because you know what, you're supposed to sift it, right? And it creates the air and it helps it rise better and there's no lumps and that's all great. But yeah, who the hell actually wants to like get out a sifter and sift it and have an extra bowl and have the flour go poof and then all of a sudden your hair turns all gray and the mess is huge everywhere? So that's like really annoying. Anyways, since I'm lazy and everyone is lazy, so you have your cup, right? You take the flour. And what you do, you're just going to shake it in the bag. So the mess stays in the bag. So you scoop up in that same area again. And you shake it again. And this is like kind of like similar to the whole sifting thing, right? So then you do this a couple of times. And then you shake it off. And then you can have your 1 cup. It's perfect. Once we have the flour in here, already pre-sifted with our bag method to save time and save cleanup, right? More efficient. So now we're going to take baking soda. Let's mix this all together. So approximately 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. And I really like a lot of matcha. It depends on how strong you want the cake to be, but I like it really strong. So I'm going to use like 4 big teaspoons. And then now we just mix this all up and then we set this aside and we'll work on the wet ingredients. For the wet ingredients, so we have 3/4 cup of sugar, plain white sugar, and 3/4 cup of oil. And this is grapeseed oil because when you're cooking with any kind of oils, you want to make sure you either use grapeseed oil or coconut oil because it doesn't degenerate and go bad when you cook it, because especially olive oil, it's the worst oil to cook with. If you heat it up, it turns really bad for your health. So I'm using grapeseed oil because it's easier to measure. And then for the eggs, normally you're supposed to crack the eggs out in another separate bowl to check if they're bad. Throughout my whole lifetime of cooking and baking, I think I've only had 2 bad eggs where like you can obviously see when it's a bad egg. It's like red. So normally when you cook it, don't just crack it right in. So you would crack it and you kind of look at it before you drop it in. So then you drop it in. Then you don't have to waste up and dirty like another bowl. So we'll whisk this in first. And you want to do 1 egg at a time. Once all the eggs are in, then you want to add pure vanilla. Don't use the artificial vanilla because, well, it's artificial. Pure is so much better. So once again, I don't really measure this. It's about like 1 teaspoon. Like you can kind of know by like pouring it in, like how much it is. Yeah, that's about enough, right? And then you just mix this in. Also, like, it doesn't have to be super exact because it's the pure. It will have just a little bit of the taste, right? And also, I use baby eggs, like the peewee size eggs, because like, you know, the hen is only so big. So when the eggs are like this big and you get them at the supermarket, aren't you a little bit scared, right? So I prefer to get the smaller eggs and I get it at the farmer's market. So then that's a bit more like, well, you feel a little bit like more comfortable with eating those. So we have 1 cup of plain yogurt. And we have the egg wet mixture and the flour mixture here. So I'm going to put in some of the flour, and then some of the yogurt, and we'll mix that up gradually. So we have some of the flour. And I learned this as a kid. When you stir flour, right, don't just go whoosh and do like really fast, because all of a sudden the flour goes all the way, and then now here it'll be green, so then you can join Shrek and Fiona and you can become an ogre. But normally it's white, and then you'll just become a ghost. So when you first start mixing the flour, like be slowly, and then you can increase your speed, right? And also you can use an electric mixer for this as well. I normally do the electric mixer at the last step so that you can have it nice and smooth. So then we'll add some of the yogurt. And then we'll continue again with the flour. So the last step after you mix up everything, I like to use the electric mixer so that you can have it more smooth. And also I remember as a kid, like whenever my mom was baking and stuff, we would always fight because we were actually 3 girls in my family. So we would actually fight who would get, because there's only 2 here, right? So who would get to lick off all the pie. So since it's like me who's cooking now, I get to have it all for myself. And you help spoon them into the 2 dishes. Oh, wow, it looks so great. Then you just even it out. See this spatula, how it's nice and long? Who makes this? Home Presents. It actually is so much better than those standard like square ones. Like I really like this one. It works so much better. If you can find one, like I highly recommend getting one of these. Before you put it in the oven, you want to like drop it a few times so that you can get like the air bubbles to come out, so then you won't have all those like weird like pockets. Shake this around. Okay, you put it in the oven and you bake it for about 25 minutes, and make sure you come and check it, because also when it's like nice and golden brown, it won't be very green and actually becomes to a more of like a brownish color than a green color. You like see there's a little crack here still. You take your knife or a toothpick or whatever and make sure it's nice and clean. Perfect. So it's all ready. Look, it's so yummy. It smells so good. Look, I'll hold it closer, then you'll be able to smell it better. See? Can you smell it now? How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? Yummy! The oven, you let it cool in the pan, for like 2-3 minutes, and then you just like you can loosen it. You get a knife, and then you just like cut around. So you cut around to loosen it up. And what you can do, you can either take a plate, or it comes out like really easy. So like this, take some scales, like this, and then you let them cool. Normally, it doesn't cool that long because I already start eating it, but it's nice to eat it like somewhat warm, so you just let it cool for like maybe max 5 minutes, okay, maybe 4, and then you can start eating it. Once it's cooled, I find it's easier to cut. Once it's cooled, you place the cake back into the silver pan, and then you can cut it easier. So here's a nice piece. Ooh, have it with some nice cup of hot tea or some bubble tea. Yeah, I have a video on the bubble tea, so you have to go check that out. Look, this is so yummy. I don't like to have icing on it. I think it's just really nice, just like this. Then you can taste the simplicity. So yeah, that's the end of this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you learned it. Now you can go and make your own matcha tea cake. Bye!